Wait, that's what the Allay used to be? Well, I mean, I've never used it, ever. Generic intro into that Ghost Moo here, back with another Minecraft game theory reaction. Today we're doing the tortured ghost of Minecraft, where he's finally talking about the Allays or Allays. I'm not sure how they are pronounced. I haven't actually really messed with them too much in Minecraft. I know that they actually have like special abilities where you can like give them an item and they'll go and find it or something. I've actually never actually used that feature. This video actually started playing a little bit last time because in the last video I was holding one of my kittens and it jumped out of my lap, or I set it down and got tangled up and pulled the controller and it started the next video. But the last video was Forgotten War of Minecraft, which was my favorite Minecraft game theory video I've seen yet. You can check my reaction to that. I'll leave it right up there. Also, link down below in the description. Also, in two playlists on my channel, one being the Minecraft game theory reactions and one being a game theory reactions just in general. So if you want to binge watch through all of those going from the chronological order, you can definitely do that. There's also a game theory FNAF playlist that's separate as well, going to chronological order if you want to check any of those out. I do read all your comments, leave them down below. A lot of people really enjoyed the last one, so I love hearing that. My birthday was yesterday, July 2nd. So if you're not already subscribed, that'd be a great birthday present. So as we're approaching 94,000 subscribers, hopefully you've hit it by now, and we're approaching 100,000 subscribers, which is a massive milestone. But thank you so much for being here. Shout out to patrons. None of this would be possible wasn't for them and the people like you watching. So thank you for even being here, but especially thank you to the patrons, because it really would not be possible wasn't for them. $3 a month get you all my reaction videos a day early, which is like 16, 17, 18 videos times. But let's go ahead and jump into the tortured ghost of Minecraft. Alright, I am very unfamiliar with these things. Like, they'll bring you blocks, but I've never used that before. Is it sponsored by Geico again?
All I need is some insurance and we're good to go.
Oof, insurance.
Car insurance.
Real expensive.
Wait, what? I said car insurance, not
just
phone.
in general.
Aha! But the Allay has just given you exactly
the Allay?
what you needed.
Tom? Where?
A hot air balloon. I like how they made him extra British.
Never better. Full damage is pretty generous in this game.
But why were you in a...
Shh, never mind that now. Listen, your Allay gave you a cell phone so that you could get an insurance quote with Geico.
I knew that was going to happen.
Episode.
Oh,
also, they got
that makes sense.
animation.
They've been saving people money for over 85 years. In fact, if you wanted to bundle it with some home insurance for that, is that your home?
Look, admittedly, I'm not the internet's greatest builder, okay?
Anyway, by bundling the two
Has
policies
Matt, like,
together, you can potentially
uploaded
save
him playing
hundreds of
Minecraft
dollars
before?
while feeling protected on all the important things in your
like
life.
A survival
Plus,
world?
Geico has been saving people money for 85 years, which, you know, is a really long time. Maybe you could fit that into a theory about those ancient builders you keep going on.
Yeah, maybe
about.
they had Geico.
Yeah, very funny. But you know, it's just nice that I can put my mind at ease knowing that I'm fully protected.
What was? Yeah, I'm not sure Geico's deals can protect you from that.
Wait, what do you mean?
I'm going to one-shot a warden.
Ooh, that's gonna hurt in the morning.
I'm restoring an ancient city. I have a density 5 mini 1 maze. I'm still trying to get more enchantments.
Welcome to
I'm going to
Game
one-shot
Theory, the
a
show that
warden.
gives you more videos when you give it more subscribe buttons.
I've been
Recently,
subscribed for
we did a
so
theory
long.
all about some new inclusions
That
to
video is
Minecraft
so
during
good.
the wild.
Let me guess, is he gonna show all the
Specifically, we
other?
dug down into the deep dark to uncover the origins.
Is he gonna
of the
show all
warden,
the
how
thumbnails?
warden
Let's see.
actually has the spirits of 5 children stuffed inside it, and the underground ancient
Oh, wow, sounds
cities
like
are
FNAF.
actually old, forgotten pizzerias.
FNAF reference.
Sorry, that was a theory from the comments. We actually talked about how the warden was summoned by the ancient builders to defeat
Somebody
the
was
Wither,
wondering
but once it
what
did,
was
it
the
went on
sculk
to take
protecting-
over, eventually causing the
defending
ancient
itself
builders
from?
to have to flee
Good
to
question.
the end. Here's a dramatic recreation of how it happened.
Thank you. Titan has freed us.
Oh, I wouldn't say free. More like
What?
under new management.
Oh, well, that seems like the
There
warden.
was so much more to this wild update than just the warden that I didn't get the chance to talk about. We have the mangrove biomes that are full of intricate
Oh.
tree formations.
Have
We
I
have
seen
frogs
those?
that eat slime and magma.
Oh,
to
yeah,
produce
I've seen
light.
this. They also fall through
Definitely
the
a theory
floor
for
of
another
the
day. But the biggest
nether.
part was the long-awaited introduction of the 2021 mob vote winner, the Allay.
Wait,
This
how many
mysterious
years did it take to put
creature
these
has
on?
one main function: to support the player in gathering resources. You give it an item, and it will pick up more of that same item from the surrounding area. It's no
Like,
wonder this
how
thing beat
much of
out
an
the
area, though?
glare and the copper golem. I mean, a creature that tells you it's dark. I can't see, and I'm being attacked by skeletons. Something tells me it might be a little dark in here. The Allay, meanwhile, this thing
actually
is
has a
perfect
use.
for adventurers, for
Well, I mean,
music
I've
lovers,
never
and
used
for
it,
gathering
ever.
the most difficult resource in all of Minecraft, the lore. explore. That's right. This thing is
Do you
deep
use
fried
these?
in the
'Cause
stuff, simultaneously
I've
confirming
never
theories
there's
we've
all
had in the
thumbnails.
past about other mobs, while also opening brand new doors for us to explore about the world. And true to form, it's dark, it is disturbing.
will they
and
only do, like,
confirm
the
for you that
loaded
bit
chunk
by bit,
area,
it's this
or will they
channel's
go
mission to expose
explore?
this bright and friendly building game for the disturbing, twisted dystopia that it's always been. I mean, I'm not the one who's putting sound effects like this into the game. I'm just the one who's there
and then
telling you
everything
what it
goes
all
dark.
means. So let me be
Not a
your
fan.
personal Allay today. Give me a few
That's
minutes of your
kinda
time,
cursed.
and I'll bring back more lore than you could shake a stone pickaxe at. This,
What about
my
iron
friends,
pickaxe?
is the tortured history of the Allay. Let's start things off with a hot take. The Allay look a lot like the Vex. Yep,
I
know,
thought
this
they
is
were the same thing for the
searing
longest
insight
time.
that you
They
come to
look
this channel
nowhere
looking
close,
for.
but-
In all seriousness, though, this is obviously something that people have been calling out since the Allay's announcement. But
Vex.
I do think it's worth starting there to see whether the connection is more than just skin deep, or I suppose soul deep. Remember, the Vex aren't made of skin. According to
They're
the
made of
mob
souls.
bestiary,
But are
quote,
they
"We
like
do not
evil
know what a
souls?
Vex's body is
Or
made
tortured
from, since
souls?
It has not yet been possible
And the
to
Allay
obtain
is a soul that hasn't
specimen,
been
but it is
tortured
quite
yet?
possible that it is not flesh as we know it. We actually did a trio of theories back in 2020 that discussed the lore surrounding the Illagers, and in part 3 we took a closer look at the
And I
Vex
was like, why doesn't he
specifically.
talk about
Thanks
the
to their lack
Allays?
of flesh, their ability to phase through walls, and the fact that they glow in the dark.
And
we
everybody's like, they
concluded
weren't
that
added
they
yet. I was like,
aren't
oh,
undead
didn't
mobs
know
like
that. Wasn't
zombies
playing
or
the game.
skeletons, but rather creatures made of souls, and that is souls plural. If you listen closely to their audio, you can hear multiple voices present. So, how does this compare to what we know
Matt
about the
loves
Allay?
talking about
Well,
souls.
For starters, listen to one of the new sounds added to the game called Allay chortles. For those of you who
Almost sounds
don't
like a
know, to
Pokemon.
chortle means to laugh in a noisy or gleeful way. But even if you ignore the definition, you can totally hear it, right? The
Yeah, it
laughter
looks
of the Allay
happy.
sounds very similar to one of the many voices heard within the shrieks of the Vex. Listen again and compare the two. And that's not all. The Allay share in the Vex's ability to glow in dark environments, which again would imply that it too is some sort of a
How do you give a
spirit.
soul
But
a sword,
the biggest
though?
connection of all might just be the names. Vex is a word that means to anger or worry, while the word Allay
Is the
means
opposite.
to relieve or alleviate. Clearly two opposite sides of the spectrum.
Red
kinda
versus
like an
blue.
angel and devil on Minecraft Steve's shoulders, one hoping to bring him relief, the other worry. All of this tells us that these two are similar in many ways. They're both clearly spirits, but it doesn't quite tell us whether they're actually connected to each other. Are the Allay good versions of the Vex? Are they all just random spirits, or is there something else going on here? Well, again,
Spooky
let's go back to those
holograms.
Vex shrieks. In our previous videos, I talked extensively about how the evokers seem to be experimenting using life and death. There was a lot of evidence pointing to
And
that, but
they
the fact
capture
that
Allays, don't
totems
they?
of undying, literal tools
Don't
for
they
resurrecting
literally
the dead
capture
is a
Allays.
pretty major clue pointing in that direction. And in that theory, I guess that the Vex was just another example of them using souls to create some new horrifying monster to do their bidding. Now, back at the time of the theory, we didn't know exactly where those souls were coming from, but now the answer is clear. The Allay are the ones being experimented on. They're being joined together and
But how did they
corrupted
get-
in order to create the
how do they
Vex.
form
Let's
the
look for a
Allay?
minute at their spawn conditions. The Allay are only able to be found in pillager outposts in cages or in the woodland
jails.
mansions locked up in jail cells. I mean, that's a weirdly
Also,
specific
is it always
place
three
to
of them?
find anything, let alone some weird flying spirit creature. And you want to guess how many Allay can be found
Oh,
in
it's
each
always
cage or
3.
cell? 1 to 3.
Oh,
The
1 to
same
3.
amount of voices that we can hear inside of the Vex audio files. The evokers are literally gathering these spirit creatures up and then putting them into groups ready for the experimentation. But
And
is
then
that
fusing
all there
them
is?
together.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's cool that we've been able to
I was
use
gonna make a
sounds
Full
and
Metal
spawning
Alchemist Brothers
mechanics to
reference
prove
there.
this connection beyond just they look the same, but is the Allay nothing more than a backstory for the Vex? Just doesn't seem right.
Or the
Allay,
origin,
these
or-
flying spirit creatures must exist for their own purposes beyond just the character everyone was already
How many
connecting
mob
them
boats
to.
have they
What
had?
are they specifically?
I did not know
Where
they
do
were a
come
mob boat.
from? And perhaps the biggest question of all, why do they help us? I couldn't leave this many unanswered questions.
Because they're
I
kind
needed
spirits?
to look beyond the surface level stuff. I needed to dig deeper.
No, that's too deep. Oh, nope.
Too deep, too deep. What I mean is that we needed to go
Oh,
deeper
the
into
deep
the
dark.
history of the Allay. A history that actually goes back beyond the 2021 mob vote.
To
I'm
what?
talking about the 2020 Nether update. It turns out the Allay was originally designed to be part of that update. It wasn't even going to be put up to a
Was it
vote.
gonna be in the
like,
Nether?
It was just going to be there. Now, if you're like me, when I first heard that, I wasn't all that surprised that it got removed. I mean, where does an angelic creature like the
That
Allay
help you
fit
in the
into an
Nether?
update for Minecraft's version of HE double hockey sticks? Just feels a little counterintuitive, you know? But then I looked at
What
the
if it's
original
cinematic?
designs horizon, things started to make a lot more sense. Rather than being angelic creatures that looked like the Vex, the Allay started as small little cubes that left trails of blue flame behind them.
Wait,
Given
that's
that
what
blue
the Allay
flare was a
used to
big part
be?
of the Nether update, things started to fit together much better. Plus, at this point in development, they weren't called the Allay, but rather wisps. In folklore, wisps, or more formally, will-o'-the-wisps, are depicted as ghostly lights or flames.
Pokemon?
So again, it would make sense for
Like a
this to be
move?
part of the Nether update. Now, we don't exactly know why they were pulled from the game. Could have been as simple as they couldn't get the mechanics to work. But I have a feeling it
Or maybe
might
they
have to
didn't
do
need-
with the lore implications.
Huh?
Wisp mythology varies a lot from region to region, but a recurring theme that I found in my research is that they're said to be the spirits of the dead. Now, at first,
Obviously.
that seems like it's an absolute slam dunk for the Nether. I mean, it is kind of the underworld after all. However, we also know that souls have a different form and purpose in the Nether. Soul sand and soul soil. Both of them play an important role for the Nether ecosystem. Without the souls of the dead being absorbed by the land, there would be no way for life in the Nether to exist the way that it currently does.
Because it kind of runs
So
off
if you
that, or
added
that's
a
that theory
soul-based
at
mob
least.
to the Nether, you'd have to explain why some souls become soul sand
And why
while
some
others
don't.
get to have a second life as a wisp. Basically, it screws things up, or at the very least, overcomplicates things. But
But
if
wouldn't
you
they have thought about that
put
from the
these things
get-go?
out in the
Or maybe the
overworld,
lore
you don't
wasn't
have that problem.
set in stone at
There's
that
no
point.
naturally occurring soul sand, and so far, there's no explanation for what happens to the dead inside of this universe. Thus, the Allay can suddenly enter the game.
Do we ever get
so
that
the
answer?
Allay are the spirits of the dead, but then who died? Well, take a very
Villagers?
close look at the Allay and tell me if you see something familiar. And this time, I'm not talking about the fact that they look like the Vex. Look at its head. Notice those subtle shading details? It has what appears to be a hairline. See those differently colored pixels at the top? Flat across the front, little arc around the sides of the head to reflect where ears would be. In fact, the pattern is very reminiscent of another character that we know all too well, Steve.
Well,
Just
also
look at the two of them
Steve,
side
but
by side.
how
It's
would they
an
get that many of
exact
them?
Match. Now, I'm not suggesting that the Allay are the manifestations of the player character every time you die.
Yeah, that'd
Instead,
be
I'm saying that
wild.
the Allay are my favorite explanation for everything that we see in this game, the spirits of those who came before us. Say it with me now.
Ancient
builders. Looks like the Vex isn't the only thing with a lot of spirits trapped inside that are screaming to get out. Anyway, I'm not saying this ancient race all looked like Steve, but what I am saying is that Mojang gave the Allay some of Steve's key features as a visual shorthand for letting us
But their
know that
eyes
these
are
creatures
the
are
other
connected
way.
to us as the player in some way. Might sound
Maybe
like
that's why
I'm
they
reaching
help,
here, but
because they're on
hear
the
me
same
out.
side?
When we free the Allay from their prisons, they'll act like most passive mobs. They'll just fly away without so much as a thank you. Now, mobs like wolves and cats will become friendly towards the player if you feed them enough, but the Allay actually work differently. Instead of feeding them, the Allay only ask for one small thing, an item, any item. Quote, we
And they'll
gave
get
the
you more
Allay
of
and
it.
the player a magical connection formed when you give the Allay an item. That's actually a quote from Nir Ulraf Vaknin, a vanilla
That is
gameplay
a
designer
name.
at Mojang. This isn't taming like the wolves and the cats. This is a special bond between the player and the Allay. In fact,
What-
they actually have
well,
a different
what does
set
the
of
Allay
sounds
get
for
out
when
of
they
it?
don't have an item labeled yearn. A yearn is an intense feeling of longing and desire. The Allay need these items for some reason. They crave them. Well, what if they're the spirits of the ancient builders desperate to finish what they started? To finish their monuments, their cities, but they can't
And
do
they're
it
gonna
by
help
themselves
build.
anymore. And when you do give them an item, things change. It suddenly pays attention to you. It helps you.
And they're
with
like,
the
whoa, whoa,
friends,
whoa,
because
we
it
can
suddenly
do this together.
realizes who you are. A descendant. The new
Like, whoa,
generation
I
of
remember
builder that
when
wants
these
to
were a
continue
thing.
exploring and creating, furthering their legacy. And to do that, you're going to need items collected, something that the Allay can help with. I mean, why
But
you
also-
want to erect a giant recreation of my head into the side of a mountain is something that they don't quite understand. And
Would that
frankly,
be-
neither do
is that
I,
one of
but
the
hey,
only
it's
mobs
the
that
spirit
can
of
pick up
creativity
items?
that they once
Like,
had alive inside
dropped
of
items?
you. And so they're more than happy to help out. The fact that the Allay can interact with the Minecraft world at all should be a major hint as to their origins. They're able to pick up items, they give them to the player,
Well, internet can
and
pick
they
up
can
blocks.
drop them at the closest note block. The only other mob that we know that can interact with the world,
Which
the Enderman,
is a descendant
mob
of-
that can also pick up blocks. Another
That
mob
seems like a
that,
slam
you
dunk,
know,
actually.
We also theorized are ancient builders. Only these guys are still alive. They evolved over centuries of being trapped in the end. Even the Allay's fondness for music makes sense. It dances
Yeah.
when it's in range of a jukebox with a record playing, which may
Man,
seem
that
cute,
disc?
but think back to the disc that we talked about in our last theory. Disc
Wait,
number
what happens
5.
if you play that
disc
one?
contains 23 seconds of music randomly inserted into the middle. Part of a music disc that was owned by the ancient builders down in their ancient cities. Hearing music makes the Allay want to dance, reminding them of the good old days when they were happy and alive, dancing and listening to the music.
I was about to say, what
inside
if
of a
like
world that
they interacted
themselves
differently with
built.
certain
A fun
music
little
discs?
Easter egg for casual fans, but a bittersweet moment for anyone who knows the truth about this game's story. So dance on, little guy. Dance on and remember those long lost days.
This is trying to
for
help.
you, I ask you to remember that it's all just a theory.
Like, do they really have that much of a
Game
use
theory.
if they can only pick up
Thanks
stuff
for watching.
around you?
Thanks again to Geico for sponsoring.
Like, I
today's
feel like they don't
episode.
have-
They may not
they're not that
themselves an
useful.
adorable little spirit
Like,
as
I've
mascot,
never
but they
really
do have
interacted with
themselves
them.
An adorable
Like,
little gecko, so
I can just
pretty
pick up the
close. And
item,
just like
because the
Allay
range
brings
isn't
you
that
whatever
crazy.
materials you need for your next crafting project, Geico brings you whatever insurance you need for your next adulting project. Take me, for instance. I recently had to say goodbye to my first ever car, M&M, a 14-year-old Mercury Milan.
Oh, only
with worn-out
14?
locks. Apparently, I missed the memo that real YouTubers are supposed to drive around Lambos or Teslas. Anyway, it
I
was
mean,
really
at
sad for
Aventador,
two
that'd be
reasons.
nice. I-
First, because I just loved the car. I moved to
my
California.
car
We had
is
memories. It was special.
18 years
But
old?
two, and
Over
probably the
18
bigger
years old?
reason, it meant the hassle of taking away that insurance and getting new insurance
Which
for the new
was
car.
more
With
expensive.
Geico, getting a quote and adding a brand new policy with the
I don't think
mobile
I say
app
good
was
morning,
fast
Matt
and
Pat.
easy. In fact,
But that
by
would be
bundling
funny.
it with my existing policy for our primary family vehicle, a phrase that I never thought I'd have to utter, I have become such a dad. I was able to save money on both. So if you're looking to see what Geico can do for
Adulting
you, head on down
is
to the description
certainly
and click
something.
the link to see how much money you could be saving right now.
Adulting is definitely something, and it is very expensive, actually. This is a very interesting video. I did not know. I mean, you could kind of guess some of this. I feel like he didn't really jump to too many conclusions. I actually had no idea that they were supposed to be added to the Netherity port. Because, like I said, I went a very long time without playing Minecraft, and I still don't know about Minecraft news. I was literally streaming, and people were like, "Hey, there's a new update coming out Thursday." I'm like, "There is? What's being added?" I had no idea. So I'm completely in the dark when it comes to Minecraft stuff and updates and what's supposed to be in the game, what wasn't in the game, and what's coming next. So I've never used these things before. I see them. I'm haunted by the Vex, because the amount of times I've had to fight the Vex in a woodland mansion, because there's just tiny little things with swords that are absolutely terrifying. And I'm just like, oh god, it's another one. Don't kill it, but if it attacks you, be ready. But this video was great. I look forward to the next one. I hope to see you there. Patrons get it all a day early. There's actually going to be a Smitty Minecraft video tomorrow. Thursday is a really good one if you want to check that out. It's him and his friends. If one of them dies, they all die, which I didn't know was a popular series, but it was episode 2 of their series, and my face was hurting so much watching that. But I hope you have a wonderful rest today. Hopefully I made it just a tiny little bit better. I look forward to reading your comments. But until next video, take care, and keep the music.
We were playing